All right, welcome to the 35th or 36th, I can't remember, um, video of the Bloomers podcast. My name is Umar. This channel, if you're new here, this channel is about like mental health, life, problems in society. I basically just talk about random stuff that's on my mind in the moment. I don't have any like script or anything. So yeah, if that sounds like something you like, then check out my channel, watch this video. But yeah, it's been a while. I say that all the time. But it's March 16th, 2023. It's like 12 a.m. Today I want to talk about kind of like gender roles and masculinity. And like, I don't know, these things that kind of annoy me. I'll get into that. You can check the timestamps and figure out what I'm trying to say. It sounds so bad when I say it like this, but man, I love doing this. I don't want to get into it just yet. Little intro here. I love just sitting here and doing this. It's like such a good thing. And a bunch of people have like throughout the times where I don't upload, a lot of people tend to like message me and just like talk about like, oh, you know, what's happening, or even just like random conversation someone will mention in my podcast, and they'll say such nice things, and for like the people who have listened, and it just makes me feel like so good, and like I had someone tell me that they love to see how much I changed since like high school, and they're like, oh my god, the growth is like so inspiring, and I don't know, small stuff like that. It's cool to see, and I appreciate it. So yeah, that makes me feel good. Ego boost. But yeah, I guess I'll get started here. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I am heavily influenced by women in my life. I'm really, really, really close with my mom. She's like the person who knows me the most, the best. We can talk about anything, anytime. I can call her anytime. I can text her anytime. You know, if I tell her to come somewhere, she'll be there. Like, she's reliable. She's trustworthy. She's loving. She's caring. She's supportive. Everything, right? So, big influence in my life. Another big influence is my sister. I think 90% of my personality, or like maybe not 90, but a lot of my personality traits come from her. And she's also been really supportive and loving and caring and just everything, all that good stuff in life. My sister has also provided for me. And she's been an amazing role model and like my best friend. So yeah, those two, my mom and my sister, just like my two favorite people in the world. I nothing matters more to me than them. And growing up, they had the biggest impact on me throughout my teenage years, especially. Throughout the start, like throughout my early years, I felt like my dad really influenced me, just because he was also, male. So naturally, I would gravitate towards him. But then, somewhere along like age like 12, I started to like gravitate more towards my mom and my sister, and I feel like part of that was because they fit under the whole stereotype of being more emotional than men. And that's what I liked. I don't know how that worked. I don't know how that happened. I just, like, I'm a highly emotional person in everything in life. I just can't help it. That's just who I am. And that started to just become a trend. And then as I grew up and like when I turned 18, I finally realized these things, like, okay, this is who I am. This is how I think, you know, because that's what happens when you grow up. You start to recognize the patterns and whatnot. So yeah, I am like, obviously I identify as a man, but I am inside I'm largely female. or what the stereotype of female is. Okay, so now that that's established, next thing, this game. If you guys don't know Hogwarts Legacy, it's the Harry Potter game that released on last month. It's a great game. I love it. I played it a lot. I still haven't progressed too much in it just because of school. And I kind of went past the initial obsession with it, but it's a great game. Okay, so this game actually, if you don't know, had a lot of it was very controversial because of JK Rowling, because she's I don't know, some stupid thing. I don't even know why she would do this. She's like, oh, trans women aren't women. First of all, why are you bringing that up in your cursed child crap? And why do you have to make that public? I don't know. I guess now that I brought it up, my thoughts on that are if you look like a woman, or if you look like a man, no matter what you are, if you look like the gender you identify with, then that's fine. But if I were to walk into a women's change room, that's obviously not okay, even if I identify as a woman. I don't know. That can be, I don't know if that's controversial or not, but yeah. So after this game released, right, I still bought it because I'm a huge Harry Potter fan. I haven't read the books, but I've seen the movies. And I heard about that thing about JK Rowling, but I was, to myself, I'm thinking obviously she wrote it. She made the universe. She had nothing to do with making the game, but she did make the universe. And I believe there's some sort of affiliation with her and some of the money, because it's her intellectual property or whatever. But at the same time, I fell in love with the movies, and the movies, were, at the same time, it's made by a bunch of different people. Just because Kanye, I really don't like Kanye, and I don't like what he's doing as a person, but as a rapper and as an artist, I do listen to his music sometimes, but that doesn't make me a bad person for listening to him. So it's the same thing. Same thing applies here. Just because she's transphobic doesn't mean that I am, or I'm a bad person. I enjoy the product. And there's way worse things like Apple, and we use their phones every day. What they do to their workers. But so that, and then I started to research and explore, why is this a controversy? What, maybe I'm on the wrong side here. Because I don't know, I like to try and keep an open mind with things in life, and for the most part I am kind of annoying sometimes and don't do that, but I wanted to know maybe I am the wrong one here. So I don't know, I just wanted to see what the other side had to say. And I read some crazy stuff and some good stuff, and then I just realized that the whole masculine feminine thing is I never really agreed with it. I forgot to mention when I was talking about my childhood that my parents did not follow the traditional mom and dad thing. So obviously my mom, she did take time off work, or not work while raising us, but she started working as soon as I turned 2 years old. She got a job, and she's been working ever since then. And in my culture, that's not very common, especially because my family immigrated from South Asia, and then they got here, and then 3 years after immigration, she gets a full-time job, and doing school while she's doing her job. That's not the traditional way, or the cultural way, especially because my parents were born way back. They're not super old, but they were born from that era, from that culture. And then my dad is one thing he does is he's an amazing cook. This guy is one of the best cooks I've ever seen in my entire life. He makes such good food. And like, for example, last month, every single day he made dinner. There wasn't a single day, other than the days we got like food from outside, he made dinner every day. So yeah, that's the type of like household I've been living in. And then, the compilation of all these things, the whole, the way I was brought up, the roles my mom and my dad played in my family, the fact that I really gravitated towards women despite being a man, and in terms of the intangibles in life, like up here in your mind, and the fact that, I don't know, I just did a bunch of research, or like tried to understand why people think Hogwarts Legacy is bad. All those things combined, just made me realize that like being masculine or being feminine, just to me personally, this is my opinion, is like really meaningless. And what I mean by that is, I identify as a man, right? But what do I do that's masculine? Is weightlifting masculine? Is playing video games masculine? Like, these things are associated with what men do, but that doesn't mean that a woman can't do them. So then I started to think, I'm like, okay, like what exactly do these mean? And like, I just started to realize at the end of the day, we're all just people. You can identify as a man, you can identify as a woman, or whatever you want to identify as. At the end of the day, we're people. And just because you do something or engage in some sort of activity doesn't mean that you're less of a man or less of a woman, or more of a man or more of a woman. We just created these weird categories and weird stereotypes to categorize people in. And that's something that I'd really disagree with in general. I think that people on the other side always say, like, on the other side of the argument, say that, oh, we need, like, if you don't stand for something, you stand for nothing. And I get that. Like, there has to be some sort of limit. Like, sure, having like men's and women's washrooms, sure. Like, okay, we need that, whatever. But why do we have like these gender roles? It's just, it kind of gets annoying at some point. Like, if you know me, you know that I identify as a man, but I'm not that masculine. Like, in my head, I'm largely like, I would be considered like a female in my head. Like, because emotionally, that's kind of how I am. That's the side I like lean towards. But, gender is a really simplified way of just looking at people. And I feel like we're so much more than just gender. We're people, and we have personality, and we have, amazing things about us. We also have bad things. We're imperfect, but just, we need to not view people as just by their gender and stuff. And okay, I wanted to do this. I wanted to search up what does it mean to be masculine, and what does it mean to be feminine. There we go. So I googled it, and literally the first result, this is collinsdictionary.com. What is meant by being masculine? Having qualities regarded as characteristics of men and boys, like strength, vigor, boldness. Then another source says strength, courage, independence, leadership, assertiveness. Are we serious? Like, why do these have to be associated with men? Oh my god. Then we got, then on the female side, what does it mean to be a feminine person? This includes gracefulness, gentleness, empathy, humility, and sensitivity. Yeah. What the heck? That's just so stupid. Because I feel like I embody both, but I feel like I embody more of the ones on the side of on the female side rather than the male side, in terms of my personality. But again, that doesn't make me, what does that make me? I'm a human at the end of the day. I'm a person. I just don't agree with the idea that like, oh, I'm less masculine, or like I'm oh my god, it's just so stupid. And like, okay, so those Andrew Tate fans, right? Like, I'm sure we've all met, or like we've all heard of one of them talk. Now these people are largely men who are like the main fans. And like, one thing that I hear a lot that's just really annoying is that men need to protect and provide for women. Now that really just triggers me. But okay, so protect. All right. The argument is that for hundreds and thousands of years, this is how men and women have been, where the man protects and provides, and comes home to the woman who's taking care of the children. And oh my god, aren't we past this? I mean, just look at the 21st century. Aren't we in the time? Aren't we like 120 years past where like, I think women could vote in like 1910? I mean, and then ever since then, women just could not vote. I mean, 21st century, we've come so far, and people still have this mentality. Like, okay, they need to provide, sure. Men need to provide. Don't women also need to provide? Why does it only have to be like a masculine thing? It's really stupid. And then protect, that whole protect thing. Protect from what? And 100% of the time when you ask these people protection from what, they're going to say other men. And that's a whole different problem. I mean, if men need to protect their women from other men, then we have a whole bunch of parents who are failing to raise their men, raise, their sons with respect and, chivalry. There we go. Yeah. Chivalry. They're failing to raise their men with respect, chivalry, and all those other things that come with just respecting a human being and just being able to understand and just be good with them. I don't know why I'm struggling to explain this so much, but that's so stupid. And I heard one thing. I was listening to a podcast, right? And there was a guy talking about how men should be like ideally treating, how males should ideally be treating females. And I agree with what he said. So what he said was, imagine like if I'm in public and I see a man harassing, like a male harassing a female, I'm going to intervene because of my masculinity. And I was like, yeah, okay, like you should intervene because harassing someone's not okay. But why is it the masculinity that makes you intervene? Because if a man's being harassed by a woman, a man or a woman should intervene. Like, just, these are not exclusive to masculinity or femininity. These things are just like natural things of being a good human being. You'll intervene when you see someone being wronged. You'll intervene when you see someone being harassed. It's not exclusive to being male or female. But yeah, and in general, I agreed with him, but it was just like, I don't know, it just kind of made me mad. Like, why do we have to categorize it like that? And like, oh my God, the whole idea that like men need to be like tall and muscles coming out of their ears, and like women need to be like, shorter than their man, or be skinny. Okay, that also kind of just makes me so annoyed. Like, personally, I have no problem. Like, I obviously you got to worry about your health. If you're too skinny or too fat, that's unhealthy. You got to have a balance. Life is all about balance. But like, I don't care if my wife to be is like skinny or like super muscular. And for me personally, like the things that people would associate with a man, like, I don't know, playing video games or sports, which they shouldn't be associated with men, but if my spouse were to do those things, or my partner was to do those things, that makes me more attracted to them. Just because I love doing those things. I love basketball, I love video games, and the more like if someone does those things, I tend to bond with them more and be more close with them. But that doesn't have to be something that's just exclusive to males or to men. And yeah, I think the roles of people, like gender roles, I think they're pretty stupid and all made up. Like, okay, I'll tell you a little story. So last week, it was my sister's birthday, and I went to Save on Foods, which is a grocery store in Canada. I went there to get a card for her because, you know, our family, we were going to all write like messages on the card. So yeah, I went in and I went around the whole store. I was struggling to find the card section. And then by the time I made the full loop of the store, it was like at the very entrance and I just missed it. So then I go and I know that there's cards here, and I'm walking, and then I come up to the card section, and this was so stupid. There's a his and her section in the birthday cards. And I just stood there. I'm like, what? What is this? And then I'm like, okay, where are like the normal cards? Like, I just want a normal happy birthday card. I don't want like a blue or pink card. And then I went on the other side, and there's like different categories, like, oh, turning 25, turning 60. Oh, here are the joke cards. And I was just like, what? Why do we need this like this? Like, okay, sure. You want to have men and like, if you want to have washrooms for males and females, sure. You want to have men's shoes, sure. You want to have women's basketball, yeah, fine. All that stuff is cool. Birthday cards? What the heck? That was so weird. And I just think that's so unnecessary. Why does a birthday need to have that category? And then, like, okay, I get it because, you know, some, like, I don't know, 8-year-old boy would like Star Wars and like a blue card, or like, I don't know, like a 8-year-old girl would like a, you know, card with like a Barbie or a flower on it or something. Yeah, sure. But why can't we just like get rid of that and just have like, I don't know, age categories or something? Like, why does it have to be the entire, like, I'm literally not even kidding, like 2 to 3 meters of like a his section and then 2 to 3 meters of a her section. It was just so stupid. So I ended up buying like a really funny one, like a funny like card that was on the other side, because that's what I was looking for, just something normal, not like, you know, a her card or his card or whatever. And then the next day was my birthday, and then on that card, it was also a funny card. But another thing that happened was my sister wrote a really good message on there, and it made me cry. It made me cry so much, and I was struggling to even like read it because I was crying so much. But again, you know, people would associate that crying with, you know, being, you know, weak, or, you know, you're a girl for crying or whatever stupid stuff someone would say. But that's just human emotion. That had nothing to do with me being a man or anything. That's just like, it made me cry. Like, okay, that's how it is. And I was even shocked. I'm like, damn, I've never had like some writing make me cry before. But it's because, like, you know, your mom or your dad will tell you like, oh, I love you. But like when you hear it from your sibling, it's like, damn, like I didn't even know that. So when you hear it, like when I heard when I saw what my sister wrote for me, it's like damn, I never even knew that. Like, I don't think about that too much, but it's awesome. Yeah, in the end, you know, we can all say, you know, what, men do this, women do that. I think that stuff is pretty meaningless, and I don't know, I don't really care about it too much. Like, whatever's natural will happen. Like, if my wife proposes to me, I don't care. I think that's sick. I think what we can all do is try to deviate from these stereotypes and like try to disconnect ourselves from what is normal for a man or a woman to do. Or like what a male or female is meant to do. I don't know. Like, all the stuff I've been saying, I don't know. I don't know everything. I'm still learning about like everything in life. So I don't know. Maybe if I've used the wrong terminology, I'm sorry. I mean that genuinely. That sounded so insincere. But yeah, I don't know. I think gender is just like kind of annoys me when people like overdo it like that, and like the whole Andrew Tate thing pisses me off so much. Like the amount of like the passionate Andrew Tate fans, just like it just absolutely like boggles my mind how like someone can be so into that stuff. Like, sure, to a certain extent it's fine, but when you get too far with it, it's just like kind of disgusting. But yeah, thanks for watching. I gotta go to sleep because I literally have a lab in 8.5 hours. So yeah, I appreciate you watching, coming by, whether it's your first time or you're a returning subscriber. Thanks. And I hope I can earn your subscription, by the way. If you could like and subscribe, if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy, or maybe I said something you didn't like, dislike, that's fine. Or unsubscribe. But yeah, I hope I earned your subscription in some way. And, always feel free to check out my other videos. I got a lot of videos, but yeah. Thanks. See ya.